Hey guys, it's Carmen with Millennial Mortgages. We're here in the South Loop neighborhood of Chicago to visit Alex's condo and learn more about his journey to homeownership. Let's go.
Welcome in, Millennial Mortgages.
Alex, thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure.
So tell us what you do and how did you come to own this condo?
I do cybersecurity. I like to consider myself a firefighter and or police officer of the internet. Everybody generally hates that. And yeah, I've been doing this for about 10 years now. And well, the second part was how do I come to own it?
Yes.
Hopes, prayers, dreams, a lot of things that made this all a possibility out here. I came into ownership of this unit roughly 5 years ago, and it was kind of a group effort for me to attain this unit. I tell people don't be too proud to beg because I asked family, friends, church, any and everybody if they could donate anything to help me out with my down payment when I first found out about this unit. So by a lot of effort and a lot of assistance, somehow, some way we're here.
And so you were renting before, right?
Yes.
So what was that decision that made you want to own?
Rent is like throwing the money right out the window. So it started to dawn on me originally that maybe 4 or 5 years in, you're not really getting any more value out of just renting. And I also didn't have like a career that moved me around a lot. I wasn't a consultant, so I'm not going to be in Atlanta one year, New York another year, California a year after that. So I figured start with the investment, and also after you do the math on it, the cost for my last unit versus what I paid for the mortgage on this unit was a difference of about $60. So I paid $60 more. I got an extra 400 square foot. I got a covered parking garage. Everything was just so much better for an extra $60. Why not do that investment? Again, the trouble is that down payment, but you got to plan around that.
So you mentioned needing help to come up with your down payment. Can you talk to us a little bit about the structure of your loan and what was required?
Yes. So let's start off with the loan that I got was a 7-year ARM loan originally. Not the greatest thing in the world, but it was the first thing that really stuck out that met what I was looking for on a month-to-month and that I really qualified for. And when I say qualified, it's insane that, I had a great credit score of like 750. My job, I had a very stable job, no past bad credit history or anything of this nature. And yet the only thing I really qualified for was this 7-year ARM loan. So I started out with this 7-year ARM in order to really make that payment. As I mentioned, I went to my parents, I went to my uncle, my godfather, I went to the church in St. Louis. I went to anybody who would even give me like $100, say, towards this down payment because I'm putting up money, they're putting up money. We're all going to make a combined effort to get this purchase done. So I also looked out for any of the first-time buyer assistance programs. So I got some money through that, which they gave you the minimum amount of money for whatever reasons out there. But it was a lot of extra effort, and there was a lot of planning that went through this because I didn't decide that I wanted to get a new unit or purchase a unit next week. I made the decision, and it took a year and a half for me to get to the purchase. I realized I was done renting, and I took the time to look around, see what the market looked like, see what units look like, and then make my decision saying, that right there is a unit I really want to go for, and we have a limited time. Let's make that happen and figure out how to get there.
And what was the percentage of the sales price that you had to put down for your down payment?
So I put down just under 20%. It was about 55, about 55K I put down on the unit. And That meant I still had to deal with PMI, and I paid that off after about 2 years. But again, this was a part of a plan. I understood, ride with the loan, and then about 2 years ago, I refinanced my loan and got myself put into, from that 7-year ARM into a 20-year fixed loan with a lower interest rate, especially with how ridiculous these 6.5% rates are. I got in at 3%. So, but this was all a part of a plan where we knew we just need to get, almost like going to school or going to get a job. Get your foot in the door, and then you can bust the door open later. So right now I'm at that 20-year fixed, enjoying the ride.
And you are the first out of your cousins to own property, right?
Yes, so out of the immediate family, I was the first person to end up buying property and being a homeowner. So out of the family, it was kind of one of those big things. That's why I was able to get so much support going through this, because it was kind of just a big deal. It's like, Alice is gonna buy a house. Let's all chip in. And then I had a major celebration once we finally got done.
So Alex, you looked at a number of condos. What made you choose this one?
I scoped out my requirements saying I needed wood flooring, I needed a little bit of brick facing it, I needed a balcony, I needed XYZ space. And with all these criteria, I handed it over to an agent to go find me some properties. I started doing some of my own research, and I stumbled across this building along with one of the other condos in the area. We were like, okay, you have long-term investment right there. You have the design and everything that you're looking for here. And you also have easy access to the city.
Alex, so describe what the home buying process was like for you.
Difficult. The process to purchase a unit has a lot of intricacies that are woven into the activities. When I was purchasing my unit, the only thing that I knew originally was, oh yeah, you go find a place, you like the place, you ask a bank for money. Yep. That's the generic process. But what you then realize is, no, you actually need to get in contact with like your agent, the agent for the sellers. You need a lawyer for this. There's a lot of pieces as a part of this. When you're coming into a unit like this, you need an inspector, and an inspector can make or break your unit. So some people, or I'm just gonna say, a lot of people probably end up having an inspector that really doesn't do a good job, like looking at the unit. Again, I'm just gonna say, got a little bit of a heads up with my dad working in real estate, talked to one of his friends, and they sent one of their inspectors over. He came through and did inspections on things that I never imagined you'd look at. Yeah. Check not just, the left side of an outlet, the right side, and do that for every single one, because who knows when one of them's not working. Turned on the water inside every single sink, left it running to see how long it stays hot, to see if it even gets hot. And checked how well heat retention went. He did so many things so well. He even looked at the construction history of the building and went through and said, yeah, you shouldn't have a special assessment at least for about 2 or 3 years. So I wouldn't worry about anything hitting you right as you move in. He was right. 3 years after that, special assessment on something that he kind of mentioned. Yeah. So having that inspector is an invaluable point of this. Being able to identify a lawyer, really, really important. And then, trying to find the right bank. There is a limit, I will say, for anybody. You do not want to go to like 17 different banks. Mm-hmm. That's 17 credit checks, meaning your credit score is tanking. Yeah. I stopped at 3. After the third one, I said, no, we have to settle on one of them, because my credit score just kept slowly inching its way back down into the gutter.
And how many days did the process take?
I'd say the process for me took maybe 3 to 4 weeks to go through. The legal side was probably the longest part of this. And something I do want to highlight as a part of this, if somebody's selling a place to you for $200K, there's ways you can negotiate your unit. Like here, I negotiated down, and this added to my time because after my inspector went through and did his review of the unit, there were certain things that he said, no, you need new piping. That laundry machine is like 12 years old, this and that. So I took all this information, took it to the seller and said, hey, you guys need to take like 20K off because I need to buy a new laundry machine. I need to redo these sinks. I need to do this, I need to do that. So like, you gotta at least take 20K down and we'll buy this unit. So there is room to negotiate inside of this process, but that will add to your time as you're going through.
And what do you have to keep in mind as a condo owner? What are you responsible for?
Anything inside of this space is my responsibility, minus, like you can see I have a lot of industrial stuff here, so those pipes will be the building's responsibility because they're actually providing services, water and all that to other units. But if your sink breaks, it's on you. If your HVAC breaks, it's on you. Everything inside these walls will be up to you to sit here and fix up and remediate. Thankfully, I, along with my dad, really love home projects. Like
nice.
We built the liquor display up on the wall. We redid all of the sink piping. We've gone through, this table was built. So like we love doing these home projects. I will say the condo association does have certain rights inside of your unit. There are some owners who have air conditioned units that are AC units for other units. So naturally, if I needed access to the AC unit, it's mine, I have to get into your unit. They also, in my case, are dictating whether or not I can build my second floor inside this unit. Because I have 20-foot ceilings and I want to have a second floor. Yeah. But the minute I start touching the walls, I have to tell the association and get permission to do that type of stuff. Else, you guys will see a jungle gym going through here with a lot of unique things, another second floor, and a hanging bookshelf on this wall. But we'll get there eventually.
Nice. Were there any surprises during or after the home buying process?
The biggest surprise is the cost, not for the purchase of the unit, but to make a place a home.
Yeah.
One of the surprising things to me was how expensive it was to get all of this. Yeah. And I would say you don't have to get it all at once. You can get it over time. Mm-hmm. And friends, family, as long as you have them, can also be a good resource.
Is there anything that future condo owners should keep in mind? Any advice you have for anyone who's looking into a condo? You
have to figure out and negotiate really well your rates, mm-hmm. and that's going to be between you and your bank. And you got to play the market. There's good times to buy, there's bad times to buy. And even if you buy during a bad time, you can still refinance during a good time. So being keenly aware of what's happening in a housing market is super important. And then be aware of the surrounding environment for wherever you're buying. Mm-hmm. So just because there's a unit, like in my case, there's a unit that had 4,000 square foot, they were selling it for $235K. And it had a nice open floor, wood floors, had brick on it. I was like, man, this is a dream, and it's so cheap. And then I looked at the address, I'm like, you went a little too far. You're not in the best neighborhood. You have zero transportation to help me really get to work. The value's there, just everything else sucks about this right now. So being aware of that spatial awareness, I think is a very valuable aspect of this. And then another thing to kind of think about is, just understanding all of your expenses. Mm-hmm. So, you might be paying off student loans, you might be paying off car notes, or who knows, maybe you're supporting your grandmother. I don't know. Add all of these things together and make sure you keep everything in perspective for what your monthly is. If I'm making $1,000 a month and all these fees add up to $500, that means I really want to target something at like $300 a month so I can have a little bit of space for the odds and ends. And especially when it comes to being in a condo, you need to be aware that a special assessment is going to happen. Now, when? Who knows? How much? Who knows? But they will hit you with a special assessment because elevators break, roofs need to be resurfaced, siding needs to be done. There's just a lot of odd things that can happen that happens with normal home ownership, but we are all responsible now for this building. So being aware to have that little bit of space and not just ride the line perfectly is something that everybody needs to have.
And people have to keep in mind the homeowners association fees too, right?
Yep.
The HOA fees.
Yep. Because even if I look at my mortgage, and again, it tells me it's $1,000 for my mortgage, your HOA can be $700. And those HOAs, people need to evaluate for what they're giving you. Some HOAs are $700 legitimately because they're paying for the security at their front desk, maybe. They're paying for the cleaners that do the entire property and handle the trees and all the plants. They're paying because they also have a pool in the building and the gym. You're paying these HOA fees for all the amenities that you have. And also a subset of that goes towards, or should be going towards, a reserve fund that should cover most of those special assessments. So if an elevator breaks, hopefully your reserve fund has over $200K in it so that they can fix that elevator. But you need to notice your HOAs, like mine, when I came in here, was like $280. Greatest thing ever. Go across the street, it was $560. No, like I saw the value of the units. They're very identical, but one had $580, mine had $280. Easy decisions for me right there because I don't need the extra tacked on to that.
Yeah. Is there anything that you learned at the end of the process that you wish you knew at the beginning?
I should have did it sooner.
Okay.
When it came down to completing this whole process, at the end of it, I realized I really should have tried to do this earlier, maybe a year or two earlier. The rates would have been different. The banks might have been in a better perspective at that point in time, and I could have started saving this money sooner. Because again, you're investing in your future. If you want to keep renting, you can definitely keep renting as be a mobile person. But every time you're sitting there paying $1,500, $2,000 a month on rent, that does not come back to you. My money comes back to me at this rate, I guess in 18 or 19 years, I will have whatever this property is valued at that point in time. And going forward, at least I know I have something either to hand down to children and family, or to be able to liquidate later if I need extra cash. So definitely getting into this sooner is something that if I had any type of regrets, I was like, that's one thing. 2, refinancing. Refinancing can be done almost at any point in time. I would say don't just get your loan, get your place, and then refinance 3 months later.
Right.
Have your place for a year or two under that first loan, and then start evaluating your refinancial options. Because trust me, another bank wants your business. And that is the easiest selling pitch to your own bank, to say, well, BOA is really trying to get me. They're going to give me a rate that's 0.5% lower than you. What are you guys going to do now? Do you want to lower my rates, or do you want me to take my money and go somewhere else where you can't collect interest anymore?
Alex, what would you say to millennials who are hesitant to buy?
If you're a hesitant individual, I'd really say you need to go ahead and reconsider your investment in your future here. So you're really doing this to plan out for a long-term solution for you to build that equity over time, and increase your net worth down the road. So you really need to examine what is your hesitation. Is it, I'm scared about making this down payment? Is it, I've never given away or used this much money ever in my life? Trust me, I never did. That whole transaction in itself was at least 20 minutes of me being too scared to sign that document, saying, "Oh my God, it's 55K. I can't separate from this." So I understand that. Or is your hesitation having that responsibility of this is now yours? You are responsible to fix, maintain, and deal with everything that comes with your unit. So examine your hesitation and do a little bit of reconsideration for that long-term investment in yourself. We really want to be able to grow and develop our own net worth, and also be able to have something that you can give back. Down the road, maybe you want to give away your units or have something to give to your kids. This is a great start. Figure out what's holding you back, and just seek out some advice. Ask some other individuals, ask your parents, or there's definitely going to be somebody around you that has gone through the home buying process that can help you out.
Absolutely. And what does owning property mean to you?
Power and control. No, it's the independence, and truly it is the control. I have the ability to do what I want with my space.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for showing us your home, and good luck to you.
I'm glad I could open up my home to let it be put on display.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing your journey. Thanks for tuning in, and as we say at Millennial Mortgages, don't wait to start building generational wealth. See you in the next one.